Imagine you're just sitting in your living room, right? Enjoying a super quiet evening.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, but then there's this really sharp knock at the door. You
Yeah.
go open it, and it's your landlord.
Oh, never a good sign.
Right. But instead of, asking for next month's rent or whatever, your landlord just looks you dead in the eye, completely serious, and says, if you don't buy your own house immediately, you are going to lose absolutely everything you own.
Wow. I mean, that completely shatters the expected dynamic, right?
It totally does.
Because when the person whose entire livelihood depends on you paying rent suddenly warns you that renting is like a fatal mistake, you're forced to pay attention.
Exactly. You would immediately assume there's a massive catch. Like, why is the person making a fortune off my monthly payments telling me to stop renting?
Right. It doesn't make any sense on the surface.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
But that scenario is the exact reality we are diving into today. So welcome to this deep dive. Our mission today is to, well, unpack a truly fascinating, deeply counterintuitive piece of advice for navigating the AI era.
And it's so relevant right now.
It really is. We are synthesizing this specifically for you. So whether you're, charting the strategy for a growing business, or maybe prepping for a massive board meeting, or just trying to ensure you don't become professionally obsolete over the next 5 years.
Yeah, because we are looking at a fundamental shift in survival tactics for the modern professional landscape.
We really are. And we are pulling our insights today from this great article in Tech Reader magazine by Aaron Rose. It's dated July 6, 2026.
Right, the one titled, What It Really Means to Own Your Tech Stack.
That's the one. And the central irony here, our landlord in this scenario we just talked about is Satya Nadella.
The CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah, this is a man who literally sells cloud infrastructure and software subscriptions for a living. Yet he recently issued this stark warning to organizations that the absolute most dangerous thing they can do right now is rent their future.
Yeah, and the sheer scale of the irony is what makes this so compelling to me. I mean, when we talk about Satya Nadella, we're talking about the chief architect of a global rental empire.
Oh, 100%.
Like, Microsoft Azure is the world's second largest cloud platform. He sells the world Microsoft 365, Teams, GitHub, and, Copilot.
They are everywhere.
Right. Microsoft is arguably the largest technology infrastructure provider on the planet. So when the CEO starts dispensing advice on how to structure your technology footprint, the logical assumption is that the punchline will simply be, to buy more enterprise subscriptions.
Right, like, please sign this irrevocable 10-year enterprise agreement. Thank you very much.
Exactly. But the catalyst for Aaron Rose's article wasn't a product launch. It wasn't some new marketing campaign. It was actually a recent post Nadella made on X.
Oh, really? Just a post on X?
Yeah, and it served as a very blunt warning. The line that anchored his entire argument was this. He said, a frontier without an ecosystem is not stable.
A frontier without an ecosystem is not stable.
Yeah. His core message was that organizations absolutely must own the specific layers of technology where their learning and their differentiation actually happen. Renting those layers or, subscribing to them as a service is a critical vulnerability. He's saying they must be owned.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because my immediate reaction to reading that premise was just immense skepticism.
Sure, yeah.
Hasn't business technology almost entirely shifted to a rental model over the last, 2 decades?
Isn't that, yeah.
We moved away from on-premise servers years ago. We completely embraced software as a service, platform as a service. We rent our CRMs, we rent our payroll systems, our cloud hosting.
Oh, everything is rented.
Right. And renting has been the ultimate business hack because it provides, cost efficiency, automatic updates, and massive scalability.
It's convenient.
Super convenient.
Yeah.
So why is an X post about owning your stack suddenly being treated by tech analysts as a 4-alarm fire?
Well, the alarm is ringing because artificial intelligence fundamentally breaks that software as a service paradigm you just described.
Wait, how does it break it?
Well, to understand why the rental model is suddenly so toxic to your competitive advantage, we really have to look closely at the mechanics of previous tech waves.
Okay.
Think about the PC revolution, right? Or the dawn of the web and the early days of SaaS. All of those technologies functioned as straightforward amplifiers of human effort.
Like they just made us faster?
Exactly. Like a spreadsheet software didn't actually know anything about corporate finance.
Right.
It just allowed a human accountant to run calculations at lightning speed. The human being always remained the undisputed, isolated center of cognition.
Yeah, the hammer doesn't know how to build the house. The tool just does what the human hand tells it to do.
That's a perfect way to put it. And because of that, the expertise lived exclusively in the people. The technology was just a highly efficient, dumb utility.
Okay, so how is AI different?
AI shatters that one-way dynamic. Aaron Rose points out in the Tech Reader piece that AI introduces something historically unprecedented. It's a continuous loop between human intelligence and machine intelligence.
A continuous loop.
Yeah. Knowledge no longer flows in a single direction from human to tool. It flows in both directions. The system actively learns from the people using it, and then the people learn from the system reflecting complex patterns back to them.
Oh, wow.
So over time, this loop begins to feel less like a software application and more like a shared organizational mind.
A shared mind.
Mm.
I mean, that is a heavy concept, but it makes total sense when you look at how people actually interact with advanced models today. It's much more of a dialogue, not just a command prompt.
Right. And that dialogue is the engine of the new enterprise. And here is where Nadella's danger zone emerges.
Okay, lay it on me.
If this cognitive loop, this shared mind, lives entirely outside your walls, your business is hemorrhaging its most valuable asset.
Yikes.
Yeah. If you are accessing a general-purpose AI model via a public API, or you're running your operations on a workflow platform that you license per user, your daily workflows effectively become training data for the vendor.
Oh, man, that makes me think of running a family restaurant.
Okay, go with that.
Imagine you own this beloved local spot, right? And you hire a brilliant new sous chef.
Sure.
And this chef is incredibly observant. They watch you cook every single day. They learn all your secret family recipes, the exact pinch of salt you use, the highly specific timing for your signature sauce.
They're absorbing all your expertise.
Exactly. But then, after a year, the chef quits. And they don't just quit. They publish a cookbook of all your secret recipes and sell it to every other competing restaurant in town for $20 a copy.
Oh, that is brutal.
Right. You essentially just paid a salary to train your own replacement, handing over your entire competitive advantage.
And you know what the cruelest part of that scenario in the tech world is?
What?
The competitor buying that cookbook didn't even have to spend the years of trial, error, and human sweat to develop the recipes.
Yeah, they just bought the output.
Exactly. In the AI economy, if you're just renting your intelligence layer on public platforms, your hard-won domain knowledge literally becomes a feature update for someone else's platform.
That is so frustrating.
Your unique competitive advantage becomes a commodity dataset, suddenly available to any competitor willing to pay the exact same monthly subscription fee you're paying.
So you do the heavy lifting of figuring out a complex problem, and the platform vendor says, thanks for the incredible insight. We'll just roll that capability out to our entire user base next Tuesday.
You end up feeding their flywheel, completely starving your own.
Man. So if giving away our daily workflow data to these general models strips away our edge, how do we actually capture and keep that value inside our own walls? Because we obviously can't just stop using AI.
No, definitely not.
We'd be crushed by the competition anyway if we did that.
Right, you can't go backwards. The answer lies in how Nadella redefines corporate assets. In the article, Nadella lays out a conceptual model suggesting that modern organizations must consciously build two very distinct forms of capital simultaneously if they want to survive.
Okay, two forms of capital. What's the first one?
The first one is a concept we're heavily familiar with. It's human capital.
The people. The wetware, as the engineers like to call it.
The wetware, exactly. This encompasses human judgment, interpersonal relationships, ingenuity, empathy, and, edge case intuition. Right. It's all that tacit knowledge that lives inside an experienced professional's head, the kind of insight that resists being written down in a standard operating procedure.
Like when a seasoned account manager knows when a client's maybe actually means no.
Yes. That is human capital. And Nadella argues this capital is becoming exponentially more important in the AI era, not less.
But that human insight is completely useless if the digital tools we use are constantly leaking it to the competition.
Which brings us to the necessity of the second form of capital, token.
Token capital.
Yeah, this is the AI capability that an organization builds and strictly owns. It is not accessed via a public web portal. It is not rented on a shared server. It is owned.
Okay, token capital. Let's dig into the mechanism of that. We are talking about the actual architecture of the AI systems a company uses, right?
We are talking about fine-tuned models that are trained exclusively on an organization's proprietary data, safely behind their own firewall.
Oh, I see.
We're talking about internal AI agents that digitally encode highly specific institutional processes. It includes the internal reasoning loops and, crucially, the orchestration layer.
The orchestration?
Yeah, it's the connective tissue that allows a company's CRM, their email servers, and their proprietary databases to talk to each other without sending that data out to the open web.
Oh, that makes sense.
The ultimate defensive moat for a company isn't just having smart people, and it certainly isn't just buying off-the-shelf AI subscriptions. The moat is what happens when human capital teaches token capital, and token capital amplifies human capital inside your own walled ecosystem. They compound together.
Okay, I have to push back on the practicality of this.
Sure, go ahead.
Because when I hear the phrase, build and strictly own your AI models, my brain immediately visualizes a balance sheet with billions of dollars on it.
It sounds expensive, yeah.
We constantly hear about how massively expensive it is to train these foundation models. Are you telling me that a 10-person logistics startup down in Austin, or like a solo developer in Dallas, needs to build their own custom chat GPT from scratch? Because that sounds like an impossible billion-dollar barrier to entry. We're talking about securing massive data centers, sourcing thousands of specialized GPUs, hiring armies of PhD researchers. How is this practical advice for anyone who doesn't have the budget of a Fortune 500 tech giant?
That reaction is entirely justified, and Aaron Rose actually addresses that exact friction point in the article.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, if owning your stack meant literally owning the physical server racks and training trillion-parameter foundation models from scratch, Nadella's advice would be functionally useless to 99.9% of the global economy.
Right. It would be impossible.
But we have to look closely at the reality of the 2026 tech landscape to understand what ownership actually means today.
I'm very relieved to hear that, because most growing businesses definitely do not have the capital or the physical real estate to build a server farm.
No, it would be financial suicide to try. To be perfectly clear, nobody owns everything anymore. Not even Satya Nadella.
Really?
Think about it. At the end of the day, the CEO of Microsoft goes home, logs onto an internet provider that Microsoft does not own, and uses a smartphone running an operating system Microsoft did not build.
That's a great point.
He relies entirely on the public electrical grid. Everyone, from a solo developer to a 50,000-person global enterprise, is still going to rent infrastructure. You will continue to use AWS or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure for raw compute power. You will rent cloud databases. You will rent basic authentication layers.
Okay, so renting isn't universally toxic. The SaaS model isn't dead for basic utilities.
Exactly. The distinction Nadella makes is highly specific. His argument isn't about owning the baseline infrastructure. It's about owning the right things. The question is not whether you rent the servers. The question is whether the specific layer of the tech stack where your unique competitive advantage lives belongs legally and architecturally to you.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
So it's not about paving your own private highways. It's about owning the delivery trucks and the proprietary cargo inside them.
Yes.
Like, rent the roads, but own the goods. You can rent the asphalt all day long because asphalt is a commodity, but you better maintain absolute ownership of the cargo you're transporting.
That is exactly it. The highway is the raw compute power, and the route is your proprietary algorithm. There is absolutely no competitive advantage to building your own asphalt when you can rent it for fractions of a cent per mile.
Makes total sense.
But the cargo, the specialized knowledge of how to pack that cargo efficiently, the unique routes your company has discovered over 10 years of operation, that is your token capital.
Man, that distinction makes the theory much more accessible. It definitely lowers the blood pressure regarding the billion-dollar server farm.
For sure.
But let's get into the weeds on the execution here. Practically speaking, how does a mid-market company actually protect its cargo without a massive team of machine learning engineers?
Right. It requires a fundamental shift in operational mindset, more than a massive shift in the IT budget.
Okay.
The Tech Reader article outlines some very concrete countermeasures. It all comes down to intentionality, not needing a huge research lab. Leaders have to start asking a critical question of every single digital tool they integrate into their daily operations.
And what is that question?
They need to ask, where does my unique value live in this workflow, and am I protecting it?
Okay, walk me through a concrete example. What does that actually look like in practice for, say, a mid-sized team?
Sure. Let's take a mid-market risk assessment firm. They have a highly specific 5-step methodology for evaluating the financial risk of a new corporate acquisition.
Okay, got it.
It's a nuanced process they've refined over 15 years, involving complex cross-referencing of market trends and historical data.
Right, that's their secret sauce.
Exactly. Now, historically, an employee might just paste all that raw criteria into a public web-based AI interface to get a quick summary. But when they do that, they leak their five-step logic to the public model.
Right, feeding the vendor's flywheel.
Exactly. So to protect the cargo, the firm instead utilizes an enterprise API agreement.
Ah, an enterprise API agreement. So this is where the legal and technical boundaries come into play.
Precisely. Under a strict enterprise API contract with zero data retention policies, the AI provider processes the prompt, delivers the output, and immediately wipes the data.
Oh, wow.
The firm's proprietary logic never enters the provider's global training weights. Keep those proprietary reasoning loops inside architecture you control. Use the cloud for what it's good at. Use your stack for what makes you irreplaceable.
Okay, I love that. So you keep the secret family recipe inside the family restaurant, and you make sure the doors are legally and architecturally locked.
Yes, and this necessity to lock the doors leads to a fascinating redefinition of a term we hear constantly in the AI space.
Which is?
Fine-tuning.
Oh, fine-tuning. When I hear that term, I immediately picture a windowless room full of engineers adjusting the stochastic gradient descent of a neural network. It sounds like a deeply technical, highly mathematical process.
And historically, it was exactly that. The strict technical definition of fine-tuning involves manually adjusting model weights by training them on massive proprietary data sets.
Which requires massive infrastructure.
Exactly, which still requires a level of infrastructure and technical talent that most small and mid-sized operators just do not have access to. But Aaron Rose's article redefines fine-tuning for the rest of the business world.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
It does. The new definition of fine-tuning is entirely strategic, not just technical. Fine-tuning now means developing a unique operational perspective.
Okay.
It means establishing a distinctive methodology. It is the specific way a company applies these AI tools to encode their organization's accumulated thinking into a repeatable workflow. It lives in how you use the tools, not just which tools you use. That is the durable moat.
So it's less about tweaking the underlying algorithm and much more about engineering the workflow surrounding the algorithm.
Let's look at a boutique marketing firm that specializes in consumer behavior. Over the years, they've developed a unique point of view on how to analyze market sentiment.
Right.
Maybe they have a specific process for cross-referencing niche Reddit threads with global supply chain data. When they build an internal AI workflow that executes that specific cross-referencing process automatically, they are fine-tuning in the most strategically meaningful sense of the word.
Because they are encoding their human capital into token capital.
Exactly. And that encoded workflow cannot be replicated by a lazy competitor who just goes out and buys a basic subscription to a consumer AI platform.
Because the competitor just gets the blank slate.
Yeah.
They get access to the raw intelligence of the model, sure, but they lack the unique perspective, the hard-won methodology, and the encoded system on how to actually wield it effectively.
You nailed it. The defensive moat lives in the how. It lives in how you string the tools together. Fine-tuning has evolved into a strategic business philosophy about capturing your organization's unique judgment so that it becomes a permanent part of your digital architecture.
I just love how that democratizes the concept. It takes fine-tuning out of the exclusive domain of the machine learning engineer in the server room and puts it directly into the hands of the operations manager. It empowers anyone to build a competitive moat simply by being relentlessly intentional about how they structure their daily processes.
And if we pull back to look at the broader implications of Aaron Rose's article, this shift in power is exactly why Nadella's warning is so profound.
Yeah.
This is not standard software vendor messaging. Standard vendor messaging tells the market to simply plug in, scale, stop worrying about the back end, and let the software run your business automatically.
Right. Like, don't worry your pretty little head about the infrastructure. Just hand over your proprietary data and pay the monthly invoice.
But this is a foundational warning from one of the architects of the cloud era, telling you to fiercely protect your cognitive infrastructure. The organizations that survive this massive technological transition will not be the ones who just enthusiastically adopt every new AI tool that hits the market.
No.
The survivors will be the ones who ensure that the absorption of AI happens strictly inside their own walls. They will be the ones diligently building their own corporate memory rather than renting someone else's.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now? Whether you are learning a new field, running a business, or prepping for a meeting, You need to ruthlessly audit the tools you use every day.
Absolutely.
Are your unique workflows and hard-won insights feeding your own flywheel? Or are they just becoming a commodity data set for someone else's platform? You have to secure your cargo.
It is a complete paradigm shift in how we evaluate the utility and the hidden cost of the tools we use.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, it leaves me with one final lingering question to mull over. We spent this time discussing how essential it is to build this token capital to survive. But let's play this out a few years into the future.
Right.
Let's assume every major company gets the memo. If everyone eventually succeeds at keeping their AI models internal, building their own reserves of token capital, does the competitive landscape ultimately just reset to zero?
Wow. That is a profound strategic question. If the AI advantage is neutralized by everyone having perfect AI, what remains?
Right, because when everyone's AI tools are perfectly fine-tuned, the AI itself ceases to be the differentiator. It just becomes table stakes.
Yeah.
Perhaps, at the end of the day, the only true competitive advantage left will be the purely human capacity to ask the system completely novel questions it's never seen before. We might just end up right back where we started, relying entirely on human ingenuity. So the next time that digital landlord knocks on your door telling you to buy the house, maybe take a hard look at the intellectual foundation you're building upon.
A phenomenal thought to end on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.